Lachi Rachi Desker Entertainment, thank you for tuning in to a very special video. What makes this so special? I'll tell you why. So let's go back to a time many years ago when I was a young count, sitting by my baba and papus watching monster movies. In particular, I'm talking the classic Universal monster movies. Um, you name them: Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Mummy, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Dracula, Phantom of the Opera, Hunchback of Notre Dame, all of them. I always grew up and said to myself, there's always been a Disney World, there's always been a Six Flags Great America, um, and even now that we've had a Nintendo World essentially of sorts, I've always said to myself, if only there was a time, and this is young Pierce talking, baby Pierce talking, what if there was a theme park that was just nothing but monsters? Now, the entrepreneurial little seed that I had from a young kid always said, you'll be the one to do that. Well, in some ways, I'm creating my own world with Dead Scare Entertainment, but not necessarily theme parks with roller coasters and with popcorn stands. But with the recent news that we have received, we have new concept art and we have new information that introduces us to Universal Orlando's newest Epic Universe, and in particular their Dark Universe section. Now, to give you some backstory, around a year or so ago, and even a little bit longer than that, a couple years ago, there was wind that the Universal Studios was going to be creating a theme park of sorts, or a section of their theme park dedicated to their classic monsters. Their classic monsters are what put Universal on the map. Universal was, and in some ways still is, the place for horror. That's what it's been, and that's what we hope it'll always stay being. So now, with these updates and with the release of all this new information, I wanted to catch you up on some of the details of what you'll be seeing there, and also posing some very important questions and concerns, coming from not only somebody who is a huge monster fan, but also coming from a Rom. Why is that important? You'll see why in a little bit. So let's go over some of the things that you'll be seeing in this Dark Universe section of Universal Studios' Epic Universe, and then we'll start talking about the little bits and pieces that make this, in some ways, a very interesting but possibly controversial park. So, first place, this part of the park is named Darkmoor. So essentially, this is the little universe, the name of the universe, where this all lives, where the monsters exist, and it very much gives us a sense of kind of like that little bit of mixture of a Bavarian little village as well as some of that old English village as well, some of the moors. It's a wonderful spot. I do highly encourage you to check out some of the concept work and the video that Universal released. I will do my best to try to link it somewhere as best as I possibly can. If you follow us on other socials, you'll be sure to find it there. So the main attraction is the Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment. This narrative takes place with Victoria Frankenstein, Dr. Victoria Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein's great-great-granddaughter, who has come together, captured all the monsters, and has contained them in a safe place in this universe. What you see here is this sort of portal that is the entrance to the Darkmoor. Essentially, this is what contains all that dark energy, all the monsters, and her job is to keep them contained. But Dracula has other plans. So what the details entail is that you come face to face with each one of these monsters in this world, and you are now face to face with them, and hopefully you come out alive. There's also the Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience. So what that is essentially is a space where you get to come face to face with some professional makeup artists who will do you up as one of your favorite monsters. They'll also have a meet and greet for the monsters as well, which is something that is always exciting. I mean, yeah, it's one thing to take a picture with Mickey Mouse, but do you ever get a chance to take a picture with the Creature from the Black Lagoon, or the Invisible Man, or Frankenstein himself? I'd love to do that. We also have 3 particular spots for food and drink. We have Das Steakhouse, that is the steakhouse that is run by vampires familiars, so people like Renfield in the movie Dracula, and It serves a very wide range of food fare, including steaks on steaks, as we've been told. As well as we have the Burning Blade Tavern. Now, this is taking place inside of the burning windmill that we see in Frankenstein, which is an iconic part of horror history, an iconic image of cinema itself. And that is very much another place to get burgers, wings, bratwurst, and obviously maybe a more adult beverage. And then we also have DeLacy's Cottage. That is the cottage of the blind man in Frankenstein as well. And that's another place that you could also find some food to re-energize as you're going through the murky, foggy roads of Darkmoor. The one ride I left out was the Curse of the Werewolf. Now, this takes place in a woodsy part of Darkmoor that is run by the Guild of the Mystics, where, as said by the park officials, Maleva has been completely redesigned, and we're entering a space in which we're within the encampment, and you are taken to a very cool looking roller coaster, and you're riding in Verdas on this roller coaster, which to any Rom is completely unbelievable. This whole idea is completely really cool. But my one question to Universal is this. I understand that this can be politically charged. There could be some cultural questions that can be raised. But was it smart to completely delete Maleva's culture? Is her culture completely deleted from this space? I mean, clearly not, because the fact is we still see these caravans which are synonymous with the Roma culture. And I just wonder, are we going to be getting some sort of quote-unquote just generic sort of representation of what a mystic would be? Or are we going to see a little bit of the Romani culture featured within this space, as well as within Maleva and some of the people and some of the actors and some of the environment as well? I really want to know, because one of the reasons why I love the monsters so much growing up, why they were a staple in this house and in many Roma houses, was because within the American culture, the Roma culture was only featured in mysteries and thrillers and in horror. If you look back to the classic monster movies, you will see very much remnants of the Roma culture spattered between many different monster films. That includes Dracula, that includes Frankenstein, and it definitely includes the Wolfman. Three of the most iconic monster characters on the globe. And all of these narratives include the Roma people. So my question to Universal is, are you going to completely delete the Roma identity that has so much been synonymous with the monster culture and the anti-hero narrative that comes with it? Because keep in mind, Maleva saved Larry Talbot's life on multiple occasions. Maleva was one of the first feminine heroes within a horror genre that we have, period. So there's so many different layers to her character, as well as the involvement of the Roma culture in all of these monster narratives. And I would really love to see that we have a proper representation, a positive representation, and some type of honor placed within this culture and within the representation of the culture, because it is so much a part of the lore of the Universal monsters that to do it a disservice would be a crime, plain and simple. And if you have questions, ask me, because Dead Scared Entertainment is literally based on the legacy of the Roma people and their involvement within the classic monsters that we all know and love, outside of Universal's narratives and inside of Universal's narratives. So yeah, reach out to me, Universal. Let's have a discussion to see how we can find a nice happy balance between your vision and potentially, bringing in more of the culture that is so much a part of the image of the genre, the classic genre. In short, I am unbelievably excited, and come 2025, you will find me front row, first in line. I don't care, special badge, VIP, the whole shebang. You will find me there for damn sure. Why? Because This is something that I've dreamed of from a little boy, and I'm pretty sure that little boys and girls and people from around the world have also dreamed of this too. The fact that they get to explore a world that places them in the movies, the scary movies that they grew up with. Because the Universal Monsters, the classic films, have such a low barrier to entry for such a general audience, especially in today's modern world, because they aren't very scary films. But I will mention, see them on the big screen and ask yourself that question again, because they are shockingly thrilling when you see them on a gigantic screen. But the barrier to entry is so low that it makes it a great way to introduce younger audiences to this huge legacy of cinema, as well as to introduce them to characters and themes and narratives that otherwise you don't see in other genres of films. Films do not create and ask the same questions that the Universal Monster films ask and have been asking. So that wraps up this video about Universal Studio Orlando's Dark Universe. Thank you so much for watching this, and let me know in the comments if you guys are going to be going to this when this opens in 2025. Will you be joining me first in line, or are you guys going to say, we'll wait till later? Also, let me know in the comments if you're really excited about the potential of seeing some positive or at least some type of Roma involvement in this world, or let me know if you don't want to see any of that, especially Roma. Chime in on this. Do you want to see your culture represented in this or not? That's a huge debate, and it's very important because this is the first time that our culture is going to be featured in a theme park. Think about that one. This is the chance for our culture to be featured in a theme park. So let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your opinion on that. But as always, thank you so much for joining us here at Desgear Entertainment. If you want more content about the Dark Universe, if you want more content when it comes to ghost stories, when it comes to cool drawings, or just anything spooky under the moon in general, come back here. We'll have some cake and coffee. And as always, terror is our tradition.